not much more that I'll be able to add at this point, other than the fact that we're confident in the target that we went after. We know what we hit. And we're confident that that target was being used by the same Shia militia that conducted the strikes.
Foad Izadi is a professor of political communication at Tehran University, and he joins me now from Iran's capital. Foad, thanks so much for your time for us here at TRT World. Now, how do you think Iran will respond to the U.S. airstrikes in Syria?
As you know, the strike that the U.S. suffered a few days ago in Iraq was conducted by an Iraqi group. And it is not Iran that engaged in that military action. The Iraqi parliament has asked the U.S. troops to leave Iraq. So the U.S. government is occupying Iraq, and it's a situation they have with the Iraqi government. They need to resolve that. The history of U.S. occupation in Iraq is a bloody history. The Iraqi people, through their representatives, have clearly said that they don't want U.S. troops around. And attacking bases in Syria for an attack that was conducted in Iraq is a show of cowardness. Why don't they hit the Iraqi territory if they claim this?
Right, yes, the U.S. did say that they have retaliated to the Erbil attack. But these facilities are run by Iran-backed militias. So will this weaken these groups in Syria particularly?
I don't think so. The U.S. government is following a failed policy in Syria. They are in line with countries like Saudi Arabia and UAE that have a failed foreign policy. And these type of attacks, if they were going to change anything, they would have done it many years ago. So I think this is more of a symbolic military action, which is not going to have any significant result in terms of policy. And the U.S. government needs to answer to the Syrian government for attacking its territory. Syria, last time I checked, was an independent country. Syria is a member of the United Nations. Attacking Syrian territory is illegal. And unfortunately, we see the Biden administration is basically following the same policies of the previous governments, attacking other countries without justification, without UN permission. So what the U.S. government has done is illegal under international law, and the Biden administration seems to be as bad as previous U.S. administrations, which is very sad.
And let's talk about this area itself. It's an important strategic location. It was important for the Trump administration too. How significant are these facilities that have been targeted?
As I said, these facilities have been targeted before. This is a practice that even the Israelis engage in, and it's a failed policy. So if attacking a base was supposed to do anything significantly, they would have achieved those type of goals long time ago. So the U.S. government needs to answer to the Syrian government, and they need to answer why are they attacking Syria when their troops were attacking Iraq. So they have serious questions to answer.
And Foad, just briefly, I don't have much time. This comes while the U.S. Is waiting for an official response from Iran on rejoining the nuclear talks. The new administration, the Biden administration, already said it's ready to go back to the talks, but still no response from Iran. When can we expect their reaction to this?
I think you got it a little backward. The U.S. is the country that has left the JCPOA during the Trump administration. Iran has been part of JCPOA. Iran is part of JCPOA. The U.S. left the JCPOA. They are welcome to come back if they decide to follow their part of the nuclear agreement. So it is you got it a little bit backward. It's
yes,
the
but
US
the Biden administration had a different approach, and they said they are ready to talk. And these talks are not the US talks; it's the EU-mediated talks that are scheduled for later this month that Iran still hasn't officially responded to.
Talk on what? You know, there was a nuclear agreement. They talked for 2 years. They reached an agreement. The U.S. left the agreement. The Biden administration can go back to the agreement if they want to. They can stay out of the agreement if they want to. Iran is not going to renegotiate an agreement that was negotiated already.
Foad Izadi, thanks so much for your thoughts and your insight for us here at TRT World. He is a professor of political communication at Tehran University.